That's what your mom said last night, Trebek. What are the rules of life, sir?
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and watch the lamentation of the women. Welcome, everybody. We are on episode... Which episode is this one?
I don't
is this
know.
4?
This is this is number 4 in the Droppin' Deuces series here on the Drop Culture podcast.
Yes.
We're doing a series of sequels. Now, this one doesn't have 2 in the title, though.
But this is a sequel nonetheless. So
Yeah.
let's recap what we started with. What did we start with?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2,
1986, great movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Available
Number
in the
2
archives.
was
Phantasm 2,
Phantasm 2.
Available
Number
in the
3
archives.
was
House 2.
House 2. And now we're on
The second story.
number 4, Conan the Destroyer.
This one's gonna take 4 flushes.
Yes. This has got our 4 flush rating scale. Because this one was a deuce, if there ever was a deuce of a movie.
we definitely. I think I had to hit the. I think maybe a 5th flush.
Oh my god! I mean, it's such a wonderfully bad movie. I guess is that way? Is that what did you call that movie the other day, Ebert over there? Wonderfully beautiful.
Wonderfully brilliant.
Beautifully wonderful.
Yes, it is a brilliant film. This movie.
I said wonderfully beautiful.
Yeah. And then I called you Ebert.
For the record, I was talking about Swiss Army Man, and that movie is
Brilliant.
very
Yeah, it's a
good.
good movie. Good
I loved
Wonderfully
it.
brilliant.
No,
Conan the Destroyer,
Conan the Destroyer came out
1984.
June 29th, 1984. It had a budget of $18 million and it grossed $31 million.
So that's good.
Domestically, I guess, in the U.S. So, I mean, that was a hit back then.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, there wasn't quite the global market.
Phenomenon.
This movie
There
came
is,
out still before The Terminator came out. So,
Yes.
Conan, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, which he is Conan, basically, was on his meteoric rise, as you would say.
Absolutely.
Sure.
This was right before he broke huge with Terminator.
They actually postponed Terminator.
Yeah,
to
because
make
of this. Yeah. This movie is just all over the fucking place.
But yeah, like Terminator is gonna start that
That's gonna
rise.
Yeah.
there. And
Rise,
this
yeah.
comes out the same year,
Yep.
So you can which Arnold movie you gonna go see?
Oh, fuck,
All
man.
of them.
Twins.
Whenever you
Yes.
watch the first Conan and you see Arnold Schwarzenegger for the first time turning the wheel of death,
Yeah.
Dude.
and he pops out right there, that is that to me is one of the greatest cinematic moments of any kind of fantasy movie, because you had no idea that Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to be that badass. I think he was 37 at the
Yeah.
time whenever he made this.
They must have shot it in 81.
Oh,
So it was out in 82, Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
So that's another great one. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was young. He was just off of
He was already a millionaire at that point because of real estate or some shit like
yeah.
that. I mean, he was a big dude, literally and figuratively already.
And like Mr. Universe and all
Oh my
that.
god!
Oh,
already
yeah.
happened.
Everything like
Of
that.
course.
And then this movie should have been his vehicle to basically, because I know
His
I remember
franchise.
I remember
Sure.
reading that they
Yeah.
were going to come back every once in a while and do these Conan movies.
Well, there had
I
always
guess.
been the rumor, I guess, of a third King
Conan.
Conan
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
So
doing something, but I mean,
Wait, wasn't it Conan the Conqueror?
Conan the
Sure.
Conqueror was title King Conan. There's
Yeah.
all been so many of them.
That would be so badass. They could do that now.
Yeah.
Now the first one is just a badass movie.
It is.
John Milius, one of his greatest movies that he ever directed, written by Oliver Stone and John Milius. And then you get to this one. This one kind of turned the corner into something that is completely different than anything else. Well, we'll start with the director here, Richard Fleischer.
Yeah.
God, Richard Fleischer. Do you know this name? Because I really don't know this name too well.
I thought it was Robert Fleischer, but you're probably right.
I don't know.
Because you probably have it in front of you.
Yeah, I do.
I have notes, so that probably means I wrote it down. But he did Soylent Green.
Yes.
He did Mandingo, which had that was a big cultural race thing. So a lot of interracial sex when it came out. And
okay.
It starred also Ken Norton, the former boxer.
Ooh.
Shout out Jacksonville, Illinois.
Nice.
Friends of the show.
Podcast.
Also did Tora 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 and Amityville 3D.
Whoa.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Fantastic Voyage,
Yeah, I
Soylent
kinda
Green.
I left Fantastic
That's
Voyage
a great
off
soda.
Why?
that because it's just universally
Yeah.
divisive.
Soylent Green.
What's wrong with Fantastic Voyage?
Well, some people really like it, and some people think it's a piece of shit. So it's fine. I don't care. I was trying to hit the highlights.
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
my
Well,
opinion.
I mean, I think this is our second connection of the Droppin' Deuces that has Soylent Green in it for
Yeah,
some reason.
yeah.
And I think we had a music from somebody that did Soylent Green.
There are many more tie-ins as we get into this.
It's a cool
Let me tell
movie.
you,
to the
cool movie.
Deuces. Yeah.
it's made of people.
Yes.
Spoiler alert:
people.
Soylent Green is people
Yes.
because
Then-
there's too many people on the planet.
Well, it was produced by Raffaella De Laurentiis.
Yep.
Raffaella De Laurentiis, of course, is the person that brought you the Bruce Lee story, the Dragonheart series, Cole the Conqueror, Conan the Barbarian, Dune. She did a lot of stuff. She really did. But isn't she married to another
Dino
De Laurentiis?
Yeah, he's the one who did all the producing and stuff too.
right,
You know.
Yeah. This is her vehicle.
Yeah, I guess she must have been on there.
Now we're going to get into the meat of everything with the screenplay. The screenplay was by Stanley Mann. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we got a lot about this. I don't know if he really did anything else besides Firestarter.
I don't think that I couldn't find much on Stanley Mann, and he just rewrote the story that was given to
Right.
him.
So wasn't it originally written by?
Yeah, it was originally written by Roy Thomas. And this guy is a legit comic book writer.
Yeah.
He introduced Conan to American comics first off, by bringing it into the mainstream.
Okay.
Did a lot of writing on that. And then he was also on JSA, X-Men, Avengers, All-Star Squadron. He was the first successor to Stan Lee as the
Editor.
editor-in-chief
Yeah.
for Marvel.
Yeah,
He stepped
he's
down.
a really prolific writer. If you're a comic book fan, you probably know who we're talking about. But
Absolutely. Just kind of for those of you that aren't, I mean, I'm sure you'll catch some of these names. He
Yeah,
co-created Wolverine, Vision, Carol Danvers, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Ultron, Man-Thing, and Valkyrie.
Jesus.
So just kind of give you an idea. Now, the other gentleman that he co-wrote this with is a great comic book talent in his own right.
an Eisner winner, right?
Yeah, Jerry Conway.
Mm-hmm.
He co-created Punisher and Firestorm. But really what I think is his biggest thing is he scripted Gwen Stacy's death in
Ooh.
Amazing Spider-Man.
The whole death of
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Stacy,
Spider-Man.
and Captain Stacy and stuff or whatever.
Well, Gwen Stacy specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know how far. I know he was on it for a while.
Mhm.
And then he was 8 years on JLA
Mhm.
and wrote the first major modern comic crossover, which was Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So really, really weird that it's like some comic creators that are scripting, writing
Good
the story.
comic creators
Yeah,
and
good
writers.
comic creators.
Yeah, that
Looks like he did a lot of horror stuff like Man-Thing and
Yep.
Tomb of Dracula.
Did you do Werewolf by Night?
I know he worked with Mike Plug, but I don't think he. Oh yeah.
Werewolf by Night. Cool,
maybe.
cool. But later, in the '90s, was it? They actually did. They actually teamed up on a comic book that adapted their original story. They had to change some of the names and stuff.
Sure.
But that's a thing you can find out. I think I don't know if it's a Marvel or a Dark Horse book. I can't remember. But yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Very,
Cool.
very
Cool.
prolific comic book writers.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
thought that was insane. I had no idea, until we started researching for this.
Yeah.
I just barely remembered that I'd watched this a couple times back in the day.
I just remember looking at it recently, and I was like, "Oh yeah, holy shit,
Yeah, that's how I was. I was like, dang.
damn, dude!" Because I know those names.
No, of course. But
I'm like,
I
dang.
didn't know that they wrote the script at all.
They are credited on the movie with the story by,
right.
but
right.
this other guy must
wrote
have.
the script,
the
screenplay.
studio's like, "Hey, we need this to turn into a shooting script because you guys are just comic book writers. You know,
Yeah.
probably what they thought. I don't know.
Of course.
Probably.
But no, and then you want to go to music?
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, the music was done by Basil Palladorius or Polidorus. He did, which is really cool, is he did a lot of stuff with John Milius, of course, like I just mentioned. One of my first favorite Hollywood people. And he worked with Paul Verhoeven, Conan, Red Dawn, Iron Eagle, RoboCop, Hunt for Red October, Starship Troopers.
Nice.
So you can listen to a lot of the music cues in this one, and you can kind of see how he worked with all of those guys, especially Arnold and Verhoeven. God, because there's so many connections and just the Verhoeven part of it.
Fucking shout out to RoboCop, friend of the show.
Yes. Then cinematography was by Jack Cardiff. Jack Cardiff did a lot of different things. He got an Academy Honorary Award for this stuff that he did.
What year was that?
God, I don't even remember. 2001? I mean, he worked in the silent film era.
Holy buckets.
I mean, the dude was back there back in the day.
Before the talkies came along, say.
Extra.
God, he did so much different stuff. War and Peace. Oh, my
Dang.
God. Rambo First Blood Part 2. Great
Would it be
movie.
the First Blood then?
First Blood Part
Second,
2.
it's actually Second Blood.
Yeah.
Yes. That's-
Okay.
They could have just summed it up in too many syllables.
Second
Yes.
Blood.
Still cool, though.
Sure.
First Blood Part 2.
Edited by Frank J. Urosity, which he's done a lot of stuff. Urosity's been on a lot of the great movies. Let's see here.
Oh my God! I just realized there's going to be a sequel to Last Blood.
No, there isn't.
There is.
No,
It's going to
come
be
on.
a different character, and it's going to be direct to DVD or streaming.
First Blood.
And it's going to be First Blood. Bleed again.
If it's the first one,
No.
bleed again.
First Blood, bleed again your own blood.
No, they just come out with
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
nobody.
There's so much blood on the First Blood. But the First Blood isn't the last blood.
Well,
This is the bloodiest blood.
Next summer, Last Blood. We lied about the last one, but we're pretty serious about this one being the last blood.
this one might be the last blood.
First Blood. Bloody buddy.
Again.
But we digress.
Anyways.
Well, Urosity did a lot of stuff with Verhoeven too.
Sweet.
Well, that
Yeah,
went
yeah.
sideways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Then, of course, production company is Dino De Laurentiis Company,
Mm-hmm.
which they did a lot of those really awesome, badass action movies from the 80s with Canon Pictures and everything like that. So they did a lot of stuff. So now let's get into that cast.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to start with Arnold.
Of course.
And everyone's got an Arnold impression, so we all might as well do one.
Not going to do
I'm not
one.
going to do it just because.
I will. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Stick
course,
around.
He was the titular character, Conan.
Conan,
Yes.
the barbarian.
Yeah.
He's a barbarian.
He's a barbarian.
He's also a destroyer, we find out.
yes.
Yeah.
Conan the butt destroyer.
Like the salad bar at the Sizzler.
Oh,
No, it's the
I don't think we need to get into
Okay,
his
sorry,
his
sorry. I digress.
filmography or anything like
I
that.
think he did a couple of movies, not too many. I mean,
Yeah,
he's still
you may
there,
have
I
heard
guess.
of him.
Yeah, maybe.
Do we want to talk about anything he did up to this point? Like, where was he at in his career?
well, like we said, it was before Terminator.
Before
Right.
Terminator, he did that fabulous movie, Hercules in New York.
That's right. That's right.
And then Conan the Barbarian,
Right.
of
Mhm.
course. He was already a bigger-than-life character. I think that's what translated him well into the 80s because he was bigger than life.
Speaking of bigger than life, so one of the characters in here, Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt
Friend of the show.
Chamberlain.
Yeah,
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah.
Friend of the show, Will Chamberlain.
is there an echo in
Boombata.
here? It's
Yeah.
like-
So I say larger than life. This dude's 7'1".
Ugh. Scored 100
I
points
know
in a
it is-
game.
Yeah, only player ever in the NBA to score 100 points in a game. I think at this point he was probably in between 275 and 300 pounds.
And he was also
big
in
dude.
between 20,000 women at this point, too.
Well,
so
that's what he does.
And as of right now, he just slept with 2 other women.
As we've been talking.
As we've been talking, he's already slept with 2.
he
There's
just
a
slept
counter
with, he just
online?
slept with your mom. Okay.
Yes.
I'm
He
sure
just
there,
slept-
there might
he-
be a website that just ticks over.
I guarantee there's probably like a
Is,
certain
is Wilt
time
Chamberlain
to...
still with us?
I think so.
Okay, I don't know. I was
Yeah.
After he
asking.
passes, it still ticks.
Yeah. Because
It's just trying to catch up.
It's catching up.
Oh yeah, it's on a delay. Or like
No,
it's
no, he
scheduled.
passed away in '99.
Yeah, I was going to
So,
say I
yeah.
thought he had passed.
So that's
Um,
20 years
ticking.
ago.
But he plays who in this, Brock?
Boombata.
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 Not to be
Not
mistaken
really-
with Umbaka.
What were you saying? They had to fly in a horse big